What is up, everyone? This is PTI. I'm your host, Colin, and I'm with Josh and Carter here, and we're going to be discussing three topics today. So let's start off with the first one. The NBA awards have just happened, and obviously the MVP is the Greek freak himself, Giannis Antetokounmpo. So I'm going to start it off with you, Josh. How do you feel about this?
I love the MVP pick. I feel like Giannis was definitely the reason for the Bucks' success. They just totally were one of the best teams in the East. You could see it. They had one of the best records almost all of the whole season. They balled out, and it was because of Giannis, their leader. And, of course, you can't forget Chris Middleton. They both worked together. I feel like it was the greatest thing for Giannis. I feel like the Bucks finally got the recognition, and so did Giannis, that they deserve.
You know, I really can't agree with that. I feel like it should have been James Harden. James Harden averaged over 30 points a game, probably around 36, I think. It's only been done 9 times before this, 5 times by Wilt himself. Elgin Baylor did it, and Michael Jordan did it. James Harden also had 9 50-point games, including 2 50-point triple-doubles. I don't understand how Giannis is more valuable than that right there.
The MVP stands for most valuable player, and you have to think who was most valuable to the team's success. Where are the Rockets? Were the Rockets first in the West? No. The Bucks were first in the East, and Giannis was the reason why they were first.
The Bucks were 11-14, and James Harden went on that 30-point scoring game for 32 games straight and pulled them from 11-14 to about the third seed in the West. And the West is a much harder division, much harder conference than the East.
So you're saying that the Bucks would not have won the West with Giannis Antetokounmpo?
Correct. The Bucks would not have won the West with Giannis.
Okay.
All right, let's go. We don't really have all day, so let's go to the next topic. So the Defensive Player of the Year was Rudy Gobert, as I believe. So how do you? I'm gonna actually throw this over to Carter on this one. Who do you think should have been the Defensive Player of the Year?
It should have been Paul George. Although Rudy Gobert is an absolutely great defender, and he's one of the greatest defenders, maybe one of the biggest big men in the paint defenders we've seen. But Paul George had a great defensive year. He had the best man. He had Kevin Durant. He had to guard Giannis. He had to guard James Harden. And every night he went out there and did his thing. I think he had the most steals in the NBA and a lot of deflections. Paul George should have been the Defensive Player of the Year.
Rudy Gobert played the same amount of people. He really helped the Jazz out, who are not an amazing squad, obviously. They have Donovan Mitchell, but Rudy Gobert was the glue to that team's defense. Not a lot of the team really had great defense, and Rudy Gobert, I feel, kept them into games with some signature blocks. He was very valuable to the squad. I feel like he deserved back-to-back Defensive Player of the Year awards.
All right, and let's go to our final topic today, which is, should the MLB extend the netting that's around home plate? So I'm gonna give this to Josh. What do you think?
I definitely feel like it's definitely one of those topics that we could debate all day. And obviously, I definitely want to look out for the safety of the people. But if a lot of these injuries happen when people aren't watching and they're on their phones, and I just feel like it's not the greatest thing to extend the nettings because it hurts the viewer experience. And you have that netting, and if you pay for those expensive tickets behind the dugout or on the right first base or third base side, it just takes away from that element of, oh, I want to see that first baseman. If you're trying to get a foul ball, it's virtually impossible if we extend the netting all the way to that foul pole.
You know, I really think we should extend the netting. I don't see the reason why not. It guarantees fan safety for sitting right there, so you don't have to pay attention to every single second of a baseball game, which at times can be boring. I'll give them that. But at this point, I don't see the reason why not. If we're just protecting the fans, it's not getting in the way in any games. I don't think any of the players are going to be distracted by a netting on the leading down to the foul pole.
I disagree, but, we could debate this all day, and,
Well, and all right, it seems like we're out of time here. So for everyone here at PTI, I'm your host, Colin. This is Josh and Carter, and we'll see you tomorrow.